All right, absolute must-watch video if you trade zero DTE, especially if you're in the zero DTE sniper room. So today has been an extremely slow and choppy day, not an ideal day for trading. So I wanted to review the trade that did come out today. Few people might not know how to trade this. Okay, so first of all, the first alert that comes out, how I trade these. So when the alert drops at 950, I am not going and buying this call right outright. First of all, I see a score of 24 out of 100, and I am seriously cautious because that is not great at all. We are usually looking to try and get around 50 or higher, and I'm more confident. But 24 is terrible, so I'm already like, meh, I don't know if I like this or not. That being said, let's check it out. So then, as soon as the alert comes through, I'm going to take the name of the alert. So this is on QQQ. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to punch it in and pull up the chart. Now, always good to use multi-time frame analysis. So that means just looking at the chart on the daily. Okay, we see we're kind of chopping around in consolidation here. Under the EMAs, looks a bit bearish. Okay, so that's the first thing I notice. Then I'm going to drop down to a 15-minute. And this was this morning, so 9:45 was right here. All right, so you see we broke out a little bit early on the first 15 minutes, 9:30 to 9:45. We're hitting some highs, but then you see we got instantly wicked out there. Okay, so what I would have done is I would have pulled up this chart. I would have looked at the 15-minute. We'll just pretend like I don't know what's going on in the future. And here we are, popping nicely, and I would watch. And I would drop down to a smaller time frame to watch. I would watch. And so, on the smaller time frame, it's going to mess me up because we're here. Perfect. So on the smaller time frame, you see where we got the entry was on this candle right here. But this candle was a fake out. See this wick? So let's pretend like I did enter. If I see that wick, and then it pulls back down here, and then I see this next little arrow here show me that the next candle is breaking the low of the last candle on the 5-minute, that would be a sign to stop out. All right, but I didn't enter there because that would have been silly. Because as you could see, there's no confirmation whatsoever. So price had not broke much of anything, besides that little wick, and then pulled right back and then dropped. Okay, so these fake outs happen, especially on low volume days. What I would have checked to know that this was a fake out. So first of all, I would have just saw the alert drop, and then I would have pulled this up and waited. And if I didn't see another alert, so the next alert that's going to tell us that we might want to get in, I think fired, I'm going to guess right around 10:35, but I'm not looking at it right now. We'll look in a second. But I'll guess there because we reclaimed or tried to reclaim the 8 EMA here, pulled back again, reclaimed it again, pulled back again, reclaimed it again. And on that second entry, if I would have been paying attention, I would have probably exited relatively soon as we were just chopping sideways and not having much action. That being said, they were really cheap, so I got in on a second entry on 8 EMA pullback for the tiniest position ever. I think I put like $200-300 on it, which to me is like 1% of a normal position. 1% of 1%. So a normal position is 1% of the account. This is 1% of 1% of the account. So it's like literally nothing to me. If I was trading a small account, I definitely would not take a trade with a 24 score and not great volume or market conditions. Then what I would have looked at, which is not going to be accurate at the time, but this table that I have at the bottom, which you can get, but you see the average VOLD is around plus 533. And we are at 165. So that means volume is trash, essentially. There's no great volume. Really nothing going on today. It's very choppy. Nvidia earnings are tomorrow, so that's a sign that you don't want to do much. But going back to what I look for at the initial alert. So 9:45, this pops. Another reason I would have never entered this trade at 9:45 is because we had news coming, I believe either at 9:50 or 10 this morning. We had, don't even remember what it was, and I don't know which good tab is on. I'm on my iPad. Usually I'm on a computer. And there is an easy news button, but not here. So that's okay. Anyways, point is I would check my news. Also, you should have some type of news source. Financial Juice is a good one. Also, you can use Vision to see what the upcoming economic releases are. And so there was economic data coming out at 9:45 or 10 or 9:50 or somewhere in that range today. That's another reason I'm not touching it. So not touching it because it's choppy, not touching it because volume's too low. I'm not touching it because news is about to come out. And we're pretty range bound in here. We haven't, this is the 9:45 range came to here. So anybody who trains the opening range, the 9:45 range came to 7:14 and never broke. So that means I'm not entering. It would have to break with strength, with volume, without news coming out. Also, just knowing your key levels, so knowing your open high, low from yesterday, open, the close, and knowing when we break those levels, those are key levels to watch the break of for entry. The alerts will tell you certain levels when they're broken. I think this morning we got a, let's go look. All right, so this alert comes out, that's what I do. I go look at the chart of the contract that it's recommending, the ticker that it's recommending, okay? So when that alert came out, then I'm trying to kind of give you a play-by-play feedback of what I'm doing. So I'm looking for a pullback entry, watching for a reclaim of the 8 EMA. I said if it doesn't reclaim it, I'm not touching this alert. Doesn't look like it's going to retouch it, so I might have to wait till the afternoon, and I'm fine with that. Then we do see it reclaim the 8 EMA. What did I say? I said around 10:30, I believe. It was 10:40, so I wasn't far off. Okay, so I did grab a click one, but notice in parentheses I said very low risk, meaning I'm not risking a lot of money here. It's cheap. I'm going to set an exit at 40 cents. I got in at 24 cents. I added at 17 cents, and I lowered my exit to 34 cents because that would have been 100% return on the 17 cents. Obviously we didn't hit it because we're not getting any milestone alerts. So we didn't hit that. That's okay. Like I said, I was risking 1% of 1% here, so it's tiny position for me. When you see, we all have different account sizes and different strategies in that mindset, but when you see a score this low, and then you pull up a chart and you see no form of confirmation, we're not breaking the opening range high, we're not breaking yesterday's high, we're not breaking yesterday's low, there's just no action, no volume, no energy in the market, no big candles pushing through fast, none of that. Everything about this tells me stay away. And so besides this tiny little baby position that I got, I just stayed away. And some people are like, are you still holding that? And I'm like, yeah, what the hell do I care about this tiny little position? Other people are like, I don't know. If you just joined, not a great day to join, that's for sure. But it kind of is, because I'd rather you see that there will be losers. Even with an 80% win rate, usually 10 trades drop a week on this. So that means 2 of those trades on average are going to lose. And when we say lose, we mean not hit at least 50%. So cool thing I added in Vision. Also, let's dive in Vision real quick to see how this can help you. So you see this. You see this is obviously a better entry. It'd be better to risk 24 cents or 17 cents than $1.27. The set process is the same even when the score is higher and even when the day is more opportunistic, okay? But you see how I'm going to give you a play-by-play of what I'm doing if I'm in the trade. Now, just because I'm not taking a trade doesn't mean it's a bad trade. Some days I have other stuff going on. I have a life to live, and I'm not going to sit here day trading all day. Other days I'm in a futures trade that I've been playing since 8 a.m. and I don't want to stop. But some days, often, I'm taking these 0 DTE trades. I set this up because it just has my qualifications, basically, as to what I'm looking for a 0 DTE perfect trade. All right, so going to Vision, though, I got 3%. We'll see if this lasts. If not, if I get cut off, oh, darn it. Oh well. All right, I'm not going to go through all that. I'll make a different video showing you Envision, how I utilize that. But hopefully this helps give you an idea. You don't go all in on every trade. You don't have to take every trade. Today is a trash price action day. Price is not moving for nothing. Got to be able to recognize that from the beginning. We have the trader chat for you to ask things like, hey, what are you doing? Are you entering this? It seems like a trash day. It seems like a great day. I'm about to go all in. And I can tell you, please don't. Or whatever the case may be. All right. So hopefully this helps you guys. A few things, checklist. I'm going to put a checklist in the pinned messages for you to look at with this. But pay attention to the distance from the EMA. So if we came here, notice on this green bar when it was pushing 714, how far it is from the EMA. When we pulled back to the EMA right here on the red bar after at 950, that actually would have been a great entry if it bounced. I would have entered here if it bounced and went up. But since it did not bounce and I see that break the bottom of that candle, I'm immediately like, this is not a trade for me. I might buy all the way down here when we get in for pennies on the dollar, sure, just as kind of a YOLO trade. I'm not saying I have a YOLO mindset. I'm just saying that as a term to use for these trades. I don't like it, but whatever. So I'm watching key levels. I'm watching the distance from the EMA. I'm watching, is there a news release about to come up? I'm watching, where are we at in relation to VWAP? I'm watching, is there volume to support the move, and are we breaking out of a range? And today, there's no volume. We did not break the range. There was news coming up, and there was a horrible score, and we did not break any key levels to give me any confirmation. So that just tells you it gave us what the scanner does is gives us the best trade of the day. That doesn't always mean there's a great trade every day. It's just saying that this is the best one. Now in the afternoon, it went so far as to not even give us one. And when I looked into it, I found out the reason was because there's literally nothing happening. And so it's not going to set you up for complete failure. Ideally, this one may end up a complete failure. Luckily, it was super cheap, so it shouldn't hurt that bad. If it does, it's a lesson, right? But hopefully this lesson will help future people not make that same mistake. And like I said, I'm going to put together a nice little checklist for you guys about entering a trade. Hopefully that'll help for the Zero DTE crowd. All right, hopefully this helps. Feel free to drop questions if you're watching on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Drop your questions in the comments. If you're in the Zero DTE room, ask your questions in the trader chat. Plenty of guys to help you there. We've been through this a lot. Been doing this a very long time. Not everything's going to win. We make a lot of wins. We have a lot of wins. Winning. We love to win, but you can't win them all. Like I said, 80% win rate of hitting about 50% or so. Therefore, you are going to lose at least 2 trades a week with that win rate, which is okay. Positive expectancy. If you have any questions about that, watch the process over outcome video. Get your positive expectancy on. That should help. Hopefully this video does too. Try not to ramble. So I am out. Peace.